You're yelling at me. You always yell at me. Tough one today. Kiddo yesterday wanted his phone before he finished all his chores, and he was supposed to get his room to a 9.5, which means it doesn't need to be perfect, but everything under your bed needs to be cleaned up, everything out of the corners. He had already started it and finished all the rest of his responsibilities for the day. And I was gonna go out. I had actually grad school last night, so I was gonna be gone for about 4 hours. And he said, "Can I have my phone and I'll finish the chores before you get back?" I said, "All right, I wanna, let's give this a try. And what happens if you don't finish this by the time I get back? How about you lose your chance to earn your technology and your phone tomorrow?" And he said, "Okay, sure." I'm like, "All right, I'm gonna be home at 9 o'clock. And there's my dog. Gonna be home at 9 o'clock, and if everything isn't picked up, then no phone tomorrow. Sound like a deal? Deal. I gotta pause. Okay, part two, someone came to the door. My dog was about to freak out and I had to answer the door. So part two, guess what? You can guess. Wasn't finished by the time I get home. He said, "Oh, my friends were here and they messed it up again and it was clean before." And I said, "When I look under your bed, what's it gonna look like? Because if you had cleaned up before your friends were here, the under the bed should be clean, right?" And he's like, "Not good, right?" So I look under the bed, it's a dump still under the bed. So I said, "All right, this means no chance for technology tomorrow." It's like, "What? This is unfair, blah, blah." And then I get the stories. "Oh, and this story, and my friend did this, and I had it cleaned up." And so now he starts to go on and on and on. And I'm like, "Look, dude, stop. I don't want to hear the stories anymore. Stories don't make excuses, okay? More story, more story." And now I'm starting to get upset because we've talked about this before. And I'm like, "Dude, the stories aren't going to fly anymore. I don't want to hear it." "You're yelling at me. You always yell at me. Blah, blah, this. You always yell at me." I'm like, "Dude, that's not true." "Oh, now you're just saying it's not true." And so it went on and on, right? And basically at this point, he starts to kind of gaslight, which is making me think that I'm crazy. I'm the one that's always yelling. I'm like, "Dude, that's not true." "Well, that's my opinion." I'm like, "I'm going to take a break. We're going to talk about this in a little bit." So I took a break, went downstairs, took some time. He's kind of still ranting to himself in his room. And I waited until all that calmed down and went back upstairs. And I'm like, "Dude, it's okay that you're upset, but it's not okay to tell me stories," which we've talked about before. What I want is results. I want you to follow through on what you said you were going to do, and I want the results of what you said, which is the room to look like a 9.5, and it doesn't look like a 9.5. And he's like, "Oh, blah, 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 this." And I said, and it's fine for us to have an argument, but it's not okay to generalize something into "you do this all the time." I mean, it makes me even more upset that you say I'm yelling at you all the time. You can say, "Hey, it feels like you're yelling at me right now," or "I'm upset right now," but it's not okay to just generalize to "you always do this." That really is going to make someone upset, and that made me upset. And so I needed to take a break for sure and talk about this. And he's like, "Okay." And all right, next time that we have, an argument or we're talking about something, you can point out a specific that you don't like, but no fair generalizing to everything. All right, dude? And he's like, "Okay, all right." And yeah, that was that was a tough moment. It's like, "You're always yelling at me." And well, now that you say that, I'm even more upset because you're kind of attacking who I am and all the story behind that, right? And definitely had to take a break and come back and kind of give guidelines as to how to fight. Like, we can have a disagreement, but it's not okay to generalize into this huge statement. And I think you got that. At least it seemed like it went through in the moment. I'm sure we're gonna have to work more on it in the future. But anyway, that was a tough one.
I'ma tell you about a woman whose heart is sunshine, whose body burned hot. I'm a thinking about a woman who's cold as tundra with some frozen eyes. I can tell by the way she moves that she cares, and it's lovely too.